Recently, I've gotten a lot of comments regarding my setup, like a lot. So today I thought I'd talk to you guys about everything in my setup, why I bought it, what I would rather buy if I were to buy anything today, and some never spoken about things that makes a drastic difference in your setup. Before we hop into the setup, if we get 1k users on code MarinTM, I'll post daily for 1 week. If we get 2,000 users, I'll do a month of daily uploads. We're currently on 97 users, and that is already quite insane, so thank you. All right, I'm not gonna waste any more time. Let's get into my setup. The first item we need to talk about is my headset. Now, a lot of people won't think the headset matters all that much. And you're right, maybe it doesn't. Any headset around the $100 range nowadays will be pretty good. But there is one remarkably important change you need to make to your headset for it to be good. So I currently use the HyperX Cloud 2 headset. All around a phenomenal set of headphones. And if my headset broke today, I would buy a new one of this exact model without hesitation. But out of the box, this headset isn't all that good in my opinion. That is because it comes with leather ear cushions. And the problem with these out of the box leather cushions is that you cannot hear your keyboard. Luckily, in the box of the Cloud 2, you'll find a set of fabric ear cushions. These ones are infinitely better in my opinion, as you can hear your keyboard. For some reason, I play drastically better when I hear my keyboard. I'm more consistent, I'm faster, and I'm better in laggy tournament lobbies. I might be extremely weird for this preference, but for some reason, it makes the world of difference for me. For simplicity reasons, I'll have all my current peripherals linked in the description. And I'll also have a link with the products I'd buy today if I were to either upgrade or buy a new one of that given peripheral. Secondly, we have my keyboard. The keyboard that I currently use is the Apex Pro TKL. This keyboard is objectively a very close second place in the world of keyboards in Fortnite. If I were to buy a new keyboard today, I would undoubtedly buy the Wooting 68G. Now, the Apex Pro has gotten a new update recently, allowing the actuation on the keyboard to go as low as 0.1 millimeters. The same as the Wooting, but the overall build, quality, and feel of the Wooting is still superior to the Apex Pro. With saying that, I do not mean that the Apex Pro is a bad keyboard by any means, because it isn't. But if my Apex Pro broke today, I would put in an order for the Wooting instead. Moving on, it is natural to talk about my gaming mouse. My current gaming mouse is objectively the most popular in the Fortnite scene, the Logitech G Pro X Superlight. Now, personally, I am not a fan at all of this mouse. The side buttons are mushy, and the worst side buttons I have ever used out of my 20 plus gaming mice I've ever tried. The mouse 1 and mouse 2 buttons are also quite mushy and have been since the mouse came out of the box. So needless to say, I will never purchase another Logitech mouse. The mouse I would much rather spend my money on would be the Lamps to Atlantis Mini or Lamps to Atlantis Mini 4K. Not only are the clicks on this mouse phenomenal, but the mouse also fits my hand way better than the potato mouse of the GPX. A mouse, of course, needs a mousepad under it for optimal performance. And the mousepad that I currently own is the Artisan Hayato Utsu in mid hardness. There is no other mousepad I personally have ever tried that is better than this one. I do want to be fully transparent and say that I haven't tried a whole lot of different mousepads, but I find it hard to believe that any other mousepad could be more perfect for me. I have had an Extrapad Aqua Control 2 in the past that I was also incredibly happy with. So if I wasn't able to purchase the ridiculously expensive Artisan pad, I'd order a Aqua Control 2 without hesitation. A lot of people have also been asking about my microphone, and the one that I currently use is the Shure SM7B, with a Go XLR to make it sound better. From my experience, the Shure SM7B without the Go XLR requires quite a lot of tweaking to sound good. So if you are to order one, please do some audio tweaks and don't just go with the stock sound of the Shure SM7B, because the stock sound isn't all that good and definitely not worth the hefty price tag. Back in the day, I used to have a Blue Yeti microphone, and that is probably the microphone I'd buy if I only did YouTube videos. However, since I stream daily, the Shure SM7B is a purchase I'd make again if my current SM7B broke down. Next up, I just quickly want to tell the 0.01% of you that cares that my current gaming chair is a Arasi Verona. I would probably consider getting this again, as it is by far the best gaming chair I've ever had. But an IKEA chair for a third of the price is probably just as comfortable. However, this chair has stood the test of time, as it's still pretty new looking, even though it is an old chair. Monitors. Yes, sir. Let's talk about it. Your gaming monitor is by far the most underrated piece of equipment, and for some reason, nobody talks about your gaming monitor's effect on your performance. Sure, everyone knows that 240Hz is better than 60, but today I want to give you guys some tips that you might not have thought about before. I currently own the Asus ROG Strix XG24HQ. Now, you probably should not buy this gaming monitor, but but it isn't super expensive and it isn't bad by any means. However, if there is one place other than your PC components I would recommend investing a little bit of money in, it would be in the monitor. The objectively best monitor for Fortnite right now, the BenQ XL2546K. This is a monitor with a high price point, but the technology in this monitor will actually give you an advantage over someone who has a lower tier 240Hz monitor. I also want to note that a lot of people are clueless when it comes to whether or not to buy a 360Hz monitor. Obviously, in Fortnite, it is near impossible to keep a steady 360 frames, but frames and hertz are not the same thing at all, even though a lot of people think it is. Frames per second is how many frames your GPU is able to pull out every second. Hertz is the refresh rate per second of your monitor, meaning even if your GPU is only able to pull 240 frames, the monitor refreshing at 360 Hz will still give you a smoother experience. Now, if you've never experienced 360 Hz gaming compared to 240, it is easy to say that the difference is barely noticeable, but that is not true. The difference is noticeable. It's not going to make or break your competitive career, whether you're on 240 or 360, or even 144 or 360. But in my personal experience, 360 Hz allows for a smoother gaming experience, even though my PC rarely holds 360 FPS. The tremendously important factor, whether you buy a 60, 144, 165, 240, or 360 Hz monitor, is that you apply the best monitor settings for gaming. Monitor settings are remarkably important and sadly almost never spoken about. When you get your new gaming monitor, whether that be a BenQ, Asus, or Alienware monitor, instantly go on YouTube and find the best settings for your display. I also really recommend investing in a DisplayPort 2.1. A lot of people play with a HDMI cable on a 240Hz monitor, but this really isn't optimal, and the difference between gaming on a 240Hz with a HDMI contra a DisplayPort is also noticeable. The DisplayPort will feel better, and please, for the love of God, plug your monitor cable into the graphics card and not the motherboard. To end this video off, my PC components are the 2080 Ti, the i9 9900KS, 3600 MHz of DDR4 CL16 RAM, and when buying RAM, everybody, and make sure the CL number is as low as possible. If you think you see a good deal on a set of RAM sticks, chances are the CL or the CAS latency number is super high. You want to avoid this at all costs. This number determines how long your PC needs to wait before it can read the data from your RAM. Simply put it, the lower the CL number, the smoother and more responsive your game will be. Also, make sure your RAM is running at its full speed by turning on XMP. This is the most important setting to turn on when it comes to simple solutions for massive performance increases. In the future, if I am to build a new PC, I'd make it with a custom water cooling loop instead of a all-in-one cooler as I use now, as cooling is also remarkably important for consistent performance. AIO coolers are realistically more than good enough if you have solid specs, but if I am to upgrade anytime soon, I will go for building a custom water cooling loop. Boys and girls, thank you so much for watching this highly requested video. I hope I came with some insightful information that could help you extract some better performance in terms of your equipment. And we will of course talk again very, very soon.